Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Young Voices Forum. We are coming to you live from Gariba Lodge in Tamale. Gariba Lodge, your home away from home. Today, we are embarking on a thought-provoking probe of a sensitive topic, prostitution, which is the world's oldest profession. In recent times, this age-old practice has acquired a modern identity and gained popularity among young individuals throughout the country, particularly in urban areas. Historically known as prostitution, the contemporary Ghanaian society has adopted a new term for it, hookup, coupled with technological advancements that allow individuals to arrange sexual encounters with a simple click of a button. This phenomenon has reached unprecedented levels of popularity on various university campuses, captivating the attention of numerous young people who find it as a lucrative venture. The discreet nature of hookups, combined with its financial appeal, has attracted a significant number of young tertiary students, especially female students, to participate in this phenomenon. The issue has become concerning to many people, as this problem appears to be getting out of control. Well, today, I have with me some students of UDS to explore the issue of hookup, especially among students, to understand how pervasive it is on their campuses. Before we begin the conversation, let's take a quick break. When we come back, the conversation begins.
Hello, my name is Jason Edwards, aka Psycho, aka since the 80s, aka the Florida Man. Ever need reliable and confidential information and support for your sexual and reproductive health, counseling or psychosocial needs? Agoshi Plus has got you. Call 5100 on MTN and 0800001122 on all networks. Good life. Live it well. Good life. It's an everyday thing. YOLO, you only live once.
Welcome back. This is the Young Voices Forum. Today we are discussing a very present trend, hookup among students, which has become a lucrative business for young girls in Ghana. With me for the discussion are Abdul Razak, Gloria Dia, and Muleikatsi Isa. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
It's great to have all of you here. So today we are talking about hookup. I think it is a name that we usually hear being thrown around these days. So first of all, have you heard of hookup? Mulega?
Yes, please.
Okay, so in your view, what do you think it is?
Okay, so in my view, I think hookup is just meeting up with someone for your own sexual pleasure. But right now, in status quo, what is happening, people use this as prostitution. But it's not a normal fact. Hookup is not like a financial gain, but just your own sexual pleasure. But I think that's not what's happening now in what we think.
Okay. Razak, your thoughts?
So I think it's just a branded prostitution. Most people within our campuses, they necessarily engage it to get money, because personally I don't see why someone would engage in hookup for the fun of it or the pleasure of it. But then, well, some people too could have their personal reasons for engaging in it. But I think basically it's just a branded prostitution purposely for money.
Okay.
Okay, so hookup is just meeting up with someone for sexual encounters. Basically that.
So does it have a financial?
Not necessarily. Most people do it for fun. But then it's more or less like if you are done and they give you the money, you can't reject it. You take it. It's not necessarily for money.
Okay, so Razak mentioned something, but I think I need to put this out here so that we can also understand. Is there a distinction, between hookup and prostitution?
Yeah, I think there's a distinction, but people don't know that there's a distinction. That's why people think that hookup is necessarily doing prostitution. So hookup is just like I go to a club, I meet a guy, like I'm interested in him, we just kind of like have that one night pleasure. I'm not in for the gain. But prostitution is just my main intention for going into the sexual activity with a guy or a woman is for my own like financial benefit. I must get a return. But hookup, I guess like a guy, or probably I just want to have that kind of sexual interaction with him. So, but that's not what is happening, what people think about it too. So
Okay. So Razak, do you think there's a difference?
For me, I think, as I mentioned earlier, it's just a branded prostitution because people just, in my opinion, I think people engage in it for its financial benefits, not necessarily for fun. Because nowadays you see that they even advertise themselves on social media platforms for people to patronize their services. So that means that it is more or less like something people do for its financial gain. So in my opinion, that's what I think.
So you think there's no distinction between prostitution and then hookup?
Okay, so prostitution, it's so obvious. They stand on streets and all that. People are shying away from the shame involved in prostitution, so they rebrand it to hookup. So necessarily that is what I think.
it's just the same thing?
Exactly.
Okay, Gloria.
Okay, actually, there is some kind of difference because hookup, if the lady doesn't get the money, she will not beat the guy up or something. But we see prostitutes, even if they charge you and you are not able to meet with the amounts they are charging, you get slaps for it. Yeah. Prostitution is more or less, it's business. Prostitution is business, but hookup has some kind of fun attached to it. So that's actually the difference between hookup and prostitution. Prostitution is strictly business.
Okay, yeah.
So I get where Razak is coming from, but what Razak don't understand, like personally to me, is that he says that people are shying away from prostitution. So hookup is not necessarily prostitution, but it's like there's a bit, should I say, respect or tag to hookup than prostitution. So for the fact that people are shying away from prostitution, they just use that name to kind of cover up things they go in for. So let's say the rebranding of prostitution, but they're actually looking for a name that is actually like less insulting to the face to actually cover up their businesses. So that's why most people don't see the differentiation between hookup and prostitution, but there's actually a differentiation between the two.
Okay, so we say, I think I have two of you saying there is, some sort of distinct between hookup and prostitution. But then another school of thought seems to disagree, because people say if hookup is strictly for pleasure, then why are people advertising their services? Because usually, sometimes these days, you can even go on Google, trying to find something, and then something pops up. On Snapchat, you have people, posting numbers and saying that, if you are looking for some form of fun, I am available. You can reach me at so and so number. Even on TikTok, we see all of that. So, won't you agree that it is rebranded prostitution?
Not really, because if it's on social media that they are available for hookup, we haven't gotten any feedback, or I don't know of a certain percentage of people that have actually testified that after hookup with these ladies that claim they are hookup people, they've actually demanded for money.
Okay, so people say that sometimes these advertisements, they come with price tags.
And that is prostitution. That's why I say people might brand their prostitution as hookup for the fact that there's a financial benefit and there's no, like, for your own benefits, then it's prostitution. No matter how you post yourself and claim it's hookup, you're just trying to cover up that name, but it's prostitution. We all know prostitution is just for your own financial gains and nothing more. So even if you don't have feelings for the guy, or you're not even in the mood for that sexual activity, at the end of the day, you're taking the money you've tagged on the sexual activity you've had. So I think it's prostitution still.
Laura.
Okay, so the difference, what I said earlier still holds for me.
Okay.
Prostitution is strictly business. There is nothing fun about prostitution. You see, in the olden days, when they used to stand by the roadside, if you go and meet up with a lady and you tell her you want to take her out before you take her to your bedroom, she might not agree with you, because she wants to finish with you, come back, and go with another one to get the money. So there is nothing fun about prostitution. But with hookup, there is some kind of fun attached to it, because as like I said earlier, sometimes they go and meet up at a place, drink, and it's like they are enjoying themselves, and later on they end up having sex, and later on they feel like it was fun. I don't think they charge for the sexual encounters. It's kind of like the guy is not obliged to give the lady money, but then they feel like it would not be nice to leave her like that, so they give money out. I don't really think they charge for hookup.
So you still maintain that there is a difference between hookup and then prostitution?
Yeah.
Razak, still on your tangent?
Of course. For the literal meaning of hookup, it's actually supposed to be what they are talking about. But we are talking about hookup as a business, hookup as something tertiary students do for money. So if an individual just chooses to have sex with random people for the fun of it, I think it wouldn't make any sense to me as an individual. But I feel it's just for the money. It's for the money. And if they concede that, prostitutes is strictly business, then I can toe in their tangent by saying that hookup nowadays is strictly business.
Are you aware that there are people who have very high libidos and have sex just for the fun of it?
Okay.
I think there's a term for it. It's called nymphomania.
I'm aware, but such people, they can't necessarily say they are hookup ladies. They cannot be advertising themselves. They move from one guy to the other just to have that sexual intercourse with them. So they cannot brand themselves as hookup ladies. I don't think someone with high libido would just say that, I'm a hookup person because I have high libido, so I'm going to hang up with a lot of guys and they'll pay me afterwards, because it's now a business.
Okay, so let me play the devil's advocate here. Not putting you on the spot, but then also, I think that, don't you think that for people being afraid of being judged or being tagged as loose, would rather decide that they want to do what they are doing is hookup? Because, let's be realistic. If a girl moved to you, Razak, and said, Razak, I want to, have sex with you, no strings attached, nothing, wouldn't you be thinking that there's probably something wrong with them?
Of course.
Yeah. But then if they say they are doing, hookup, you would think that, okay, they are offering a service. If it is something that you can get behind, you would do that. But if it's something that you'll not be interested in, then you will not entertain the person. So don't you think that there are just people with high libidos, but for fear of being tagged as loose, decide to hide under the whole hookup thing so that they are not judged so harshly? Just playing the devil's advocate.
So should someone approach me with such an offer, definitely, if the person doesn't open up to say, I have high libido, I want to just hang out and have some fun and all that. If the person doesn't open up, then she says she's a hookup lady. That means that I am going to patronize your service. You get it? So I would see it as a business.
But maybe it's not business to them. But that is like an easier way to get access to the sex without you, being scared or something.
You wouldn't price me. You wouldn't give me a price tag.
But they have to take something. So it doesn't look like, it's a very awkward or weird encounter. They would have to take something. Don't you think so?
Well, then that is it. But in vast majority of instances,
okay.
I know such people are just minimal. Like it's such percentage of people is negligible.
You can't be sure of that. Can you?
People with high sexual
Yes.
pleasures and
You can't
they
be sure
just
of
want
that.
to.
I see Mulaika shaking her head vigorously. Mulaika.
Razak lives in that typical African perception, because if you realize in the outside world where sex is normalized and talked about, it's so normal for me just to want to have sex every day. So I just literally go out in the evening, like in the outside world, people just go out to clubs or pubs at night just to get a man at the end of the day in their bed, like no strings attached. We just have the fun, we get up, that's all. Like we can choose to share contact if it's like nice, or let's hook up again some other time. That's it. But Razak lives in the typical African world where it's like sex is not normalized. We all like, if I get a choice in life, I'm not like, people will tag you bad in African society, but if we all have the chance to explore our sexual adventure, I think that everyone will actually want to have sex like every day of our life. But we live in a society where it's like, it's so forbidden. You can't even talk about sexual relations. Even in this like my matured state, it's still like a sin for me to open up my sexual pleasures. So I think that's what is even like creating that whole tag and perceptions about things. So that's what Razak feels to understand, that like literally most of us have high sexual pleasure. If you have to explore it, like I've not had sex, but sex is fun. Looking at things, it's like, it's nice to explore your sexual adventure, even catching little feelings, it's fun. So if you are given a chance, like the outside world in the African perspective, to really explore, then Razak will really see this to be normal, because it's so normal to hook up with a guy in the outside world, but it's not very normal here. So for me to have that fun, you target prostitution, and that's what most of these like innocent people that actually do hook up are tagged as prostitutes, because of they wanting to explore their adventure in sex.
All right. So, Gloria, do you have any thoughts on that too?
Okay, so what I would say is that hookup, the original meaning of hookup was just to meet up with a guy, have fun, have sex, and you're done. Yeah. But the prostitutes are kind of abusing it. Yes, they are trying to use hookup to cover up for the shame that comes with prostitution. So that's why I think Razak doesn't understand that prostitution is different from hookup.
So there is this news, going around. People say that people, especially young girls, including students, who are in the tertiary institutions, are now engaging in hookup. Is this an assertion you can get behind? Would you say that is a reality on ground?
Probably. I've not seen it, but I think per the news that is going out, and a lot of people are, and I've actually seen certain things on my Snap account. I actually think it's true that people are actually into this business on campuses, because you actually see it on most social media, especially Snapchat, if you're very active on it. So I'll take their session.
Yeah, so would you say that it's a lot of young girls that are doing this business, or just a few young girls who are very loud on what they do that is creating this impression?
In that hookup business, I don't think that a lot of people are actually into it. It's because of the way they don't care about people's perceptions about them, and they're actually so loud. Okay, probably there might be people undercover, but I think that weighing both options, or weighing those that don't do hookup to those that do hookup, I think we are more than those that do the hookup business. Yes, please.
Razak?
I think that's the reality on ground, because nowadays, for example, in our school, for instance, I know a whole lot of people who are engaged in it, though they would not openly say that they are engaged in it, but everything shows they are into it. You see them with this guy, they go. Well, I cannot say that they go have sex, but then it's so obvious that that is what they do. You get it?
Okay. Still, would you what exactly would you say they are doing that you think that they're actually doing hookup? Is it the mere fact that they probably have a lot of male friends, or you think that they are actually having sex and getting paid for it?
Oh, yes, I think they are actually having sex and getting paid for it, because for those I know, like eyewitness, boys, we discuss such issues.
And then boys lie too. Oh,
Come on.
I mean, just say it, just ask
There was an
it.
instance someone has said it within our group discussions that, oh, this lady is a hookup girl, and anyone who wants to, I can just link you up and all that.
So is she a hookup girl, as in she's, for want of a better word, loose, or she's actually charging?
She charges.
She charges like she has a whole.
Of course.
Okay.
Price list.
So during those discussions, when such issues come up, we get to know that, oh, these people, though we were thinking probably it's not what we think, but within that particular conversation, we get to confirm. And what even led me to believing that it's that particular accusations were levied against such a person, and a different person amongst us decided to just try it, because that guy usually speaks a lot. The guy who told us usually speaks a lot.
Yeah, so that's the part where I said the boys lie.
Exactly.
Okay.
Sometimes, not all the time.
Okay.
So the guy actually tried it and it worked out. So he confirmed that, yeah, this lady is really a hookup girl. So sometimes it's not that people just want to label them as such, but they are really into it. And some of them don't even shy. They post such stuff. They openly just tell people that they do hook up. So some of these things.
So you are going with a school of thought that says a lot of young girls in the tertiary institutions, or you are going with a school of thought that says it's just a few young girls, but then they are probably way loud. That is why there is this news that most young.
Well,
young girls
actually,
are doing
I think it depends on your definition of a lot, because previously it wasn't as dominant as now. So I think it would be justified for people to say that a lot of young girls, because if the numbers are increasing, they cannot just weigh to the total population then say that, oh, because majority don't do hookup, the numbers that are doing hookup, though those numbers are significant, we should say that it's just a few of them. They are highly influential. And to say a lot of them, it means it's getting out of hand. So I still stand by that school of thought.
So a lot more people.
Yeah.
I would come back to who is to blame for it, but before that, let's go for a quick break. The conversation is getting interesting, and when we come back, we'll continue.
You only live once.
Hi, my name is Kwinstanifi and I play the role of Emily in the YOLO TV series. For accurate information and support on contraception, pregnancy, and other sexual and reproductive health issues, call the Agoshi Plus toll-free line 5100 for MTN and 0800001122 for all networks. Good life, live it well. Good life, it's an everyday thing. YOLO, you only live once.
YOLO, you only live once.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is the Young Voices Forum, and today our topic for discussion is hookup. Is it refined prostitution or not? And we've been joined by some amazing students of the University for Development Studies, and the discussion is ongoing. If you have any comments or any questions or suggestions, you can just put them in the comment section, and then we would read and share with our audience. You can also share the stream so that other young people can benefit from the discussion. So Razak, before we went on break, we were talking about how the numbers are skyrocketing when it comes to hookup. Why do you think that the numbers are going up?
Okay, so there are a couple of reasons.
Okay.
I think those involved in it, they are really making money. So that is influencing other young girls to join them. And as they are making those monies, they have friends. And even if they have a friend that thinks she's very moral, she wouldn't engage in it, lavish wealth, like money, you know, the things they buy, the wigs, the bags, and all those things. And you know, material things, you know, you ladies most of the times like them more. Yeah. So if they don't have
On a regular day, I would ask you to take that back, but okay.
oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
So if they don't have any other means to get that, and they are aware of a friend that is engaged in it and getting such money, they are easily influenced in it, and they will tend to ask the lady how she does it, and that is how it happens. One person introduced to the other, just like that.
So you think that you know, the numbers are going up because other young girls are introducing other girls into it, and not that there is a demand for it?
I don't think so. I don't think there's a demand, like there's a very high demand for it. It's the influence
That's making other young girls do it.
Yes.
So if I got you right from your first submission, you mentioned how it's lucrative. Women, like people that engage in it, get monetary gains out of it. And they're able to buy bags, they're able to buy wigs, your words, not mine. And how is it lucrative? It means they have sex with someone and they get money in exchange for it. So if the numbers are going up, you don't think that it is because there is a market that supports that lifestyle? That is why the numbers are going up, because there are readily available men. I mean, we live in a very heterosexual society. You don't think there are readily available men that are willing to, you know, dole money out for these services? That is why the numbers keep going up.
All right. So I think that, you know, from the perspective of the influence, they make the advertisement so catchy that it influences guys to also want to do. But not necessarily, oh, intrinsically, as a man, I just want a girl to do that. But some people sometimes don't have that mentality. But from the way they advertise themselves and all that, that lures them in, you know.
No, so the question was that you say the numbers are going up, right? Because other young girls who are already into this profession are influencing other young girls. And I want to understand why you would want to hold these women accountable without necessarily holding the people patronizing these services. Because it's demand and supply. I didn't do economics. I thought it would be too hard, so I ran away from the class. But I know that there is demand and supply. If there is no demand, who supplies? So wouldn't you say that the influence is from, the reason why the numbers are going up is these men who are available and willing to pay for the services that is creating this whole hookup culture, and not necessarily because, you know, other girls are doing it, they've gotten gains, and that is influencing other girls to get into this profession. I mean, that's just what I want. I want to understand.
Yeah, I get it. I get it now. So, because men are willing to patronize the service, that is how it's going up. I think that's true. But then, you know, men are normally influenced, or they are moved by what they see. You get it? So, some ladies would advertise it so catchy that even if you were not interested, you fall victim to their tricks. You get.
Okay, so in this whole equation, is the men that are the victims, not the women?
Of course.
Okay.
I disagree with that. Nah.
Mulaika, your turn.
So that brings me to my case of how society is quick to always blame women for everything. We realize that there is an available market, and Razak preaches a world where women make it so catchy and attractive, but you men also make it so interesting to be involved in, because if I was actually a hookup person and I'm not getting the benefits or the gain I want, I actually look for a more profitable business. But they also make it attractive, but they don't want to accept to the fact that they are also indirect hookup men in status quo. that's how society looks like, because women, we are always to blame for everything that happens. So they don't want to accept their fault that they are also pushing this agenda, and they're also indirect hookup men because they make it interesting and more catchy for us to also patronize, and they blame everything on us. So I don't buy it.
To that.
Let me get back to Gloria.
Actually, because there is high demand.
Yeah.
There is high demand because it's more or less like the ladies are not even meeting the demand of hookup.
Oh, really? That's news.
Because you are always seeing, my name is this, from KNUST. I'm offering this program. I'm this, I'm that. I'm looking for somebody to. The guys also post that. It's not like it's only the ladies that post it. No. And the guys may even take pictures with their biceps and all that. You think that one is not catchy or it's not attractive?
Oh, the guys are adding biceps.
Yes.
Wow.
They take pictures of themselves. Yeah, you see some of them gym and all that. So they take pictures of themselves.
So it's the gym bros.
Those ones are also attractive. So don't say that it's the ladies that are making it attractive.
The money is even attractive. Like, money is attractive.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand. Here, I'm not disputing the fact that men also do that. But women do it more. Women are very open to, and that is why prostitution in ancient times, it was always done by women.
And then men discovered it.
So,
no. I mean,
I discovered it from the women.
Okay.
You get it. So
yeah.
This is it. As a young guy, when you see nowadays, you guys preach what women can do, men can do, or what men can do, women can do, right? So if I see that, oh, this lady, it's getting a lot of money from it, and I realize that I can also do it to lure other ladies to patronize my service, so that I will also get money. Why not? You see, so we discover it from the ladies. Then we also try to do, if it's lucrative, why not?
But at the end of the day, you are the one losing the money.
Yes, and he's running away from the fact that they are always available. Even taking it back to the olden era where women started prostitution, they were available. That's why it's continued. Like, there's so much patriarchal system in status quo where men always want to be the head and not at fault. And that's what Razak is still holding to, that perception that they are never wrong. Like, women are always wrong. Like, everything should be us. Like, every negativity, it's always women. In the olden era, if this prostitution started and men were not buying into the prostitution, then it would have ended and people wouldn't have found it lucrative. But here you are also you even agree to the fact that if someone brings herself, why not? So that means that you guys are really available, but you're just trying to max yourself out and make it look like you guys are the good people and we are just the ones offering the services. But you're making it more fun too.
You are in no way discouraging hookup and prostitution. You are supporting it.
Yeah,
so.
there is support.
Okay, so here is it. The thing is, it's not that the men that also advertise themselves, when they take you as a hookup person, they are going to pay you. They expect that you pay them because you patronize their service. So you cannot say that because they also make it look so catchy, and at the end of the day, they are still the same people who are going to lose the money. Because as a man, if I'm also doing that and I'm advertising myself, I go to gym, I try to get some nice body so that ladies will patronize me. Why would they patronize me, and at the end of the day, I would have to pay them again, or I would have to lose money?
No, we are not talking about hookup ladies and their fellow hookup men. No. We are talking about women who do hookup and then men who patronize them. I think that the point Muleika and Gloria are making right now is the fact that it is because there are men available who will patronize people who do these hookup. That is why the numbers are going up. If these men were not readily available to pay for these services, then this hookup thing would not be going up until this point where you said that a lot of young women are into it now. I think that's just the angle. Like, they just want to agree that there is a supply because men are demanding. So you agree? Yeah. Okay. So let me ask this. Do you agree or do you think that social media is what is influencing the hookup culture? Or you think that it has long existed before now?
I think social media is playing a key factor, even though it has long existed, because social media is making everything so simple and you can connect with like anyone, anytime. So at first, this hookup will not even be in existence, because without social media, I think you have to be walking on the streets like other prostitutes to be able to patronize, or the other means you use will be so hard. But here we have social media with apps and like Snapchat, where you are just a DM away, like, hi, I'm ready or I'm available. Like we send location, like everything is so simple and fast. So I think social media is actually playing a very key factor into the already existing prostitution, and it's making it expand.
Okay. Razak.
To add to that, the influence aspect of social media too is very critical, because some people, most times, some ladies get their role models on social media and all that. So if they realize that, oh, the person I'm looking up to, the person who is showing like a lot of materialistic things, and I aspire to get those things, it's a hookup person, then I'll be easily influenced to also do that particular activity. You get it? So despite the fact that social media has made it easy for them to connect, it has also influenced some people, not directly from their friends, but on the media. They see people do that and they try to also engage in it.
Okay. Gloria.
Okay, so I think social media is influencing it because it has now become like a trend. It has become trendy. Hook up this, hook up that, and everybody wants to be in the trend, so they kind of go into it. So it's influence, and social media is a very should I say, it has an impact on this whole hookup business. It's influencing it.
So now we've looked at the issue. Let's look at the consequences. What would you say are the potential consequences of this hookup trend or business? Or even, let me circle back. What do you think is a factor? I mean, aside, probably the demand and supply thing, what do you think is a factor that is driving, young people into this hookup thing?
Okay. They go in for finances. Like, apart from the pleasure people can go in for, but it's because of the finances. Like, let's even currently in status quo, life in Ghana is very hard. Me as a university student, if I'm not very so focused and assertive on my decisions, I think everyone really wants to have that soft life, and you realize there's a lot of pressure in university campuses. You have people that are so well to do, and it's kind of like you probably even have a roommate that is so well off, and you always feel inferior. So I think that's, even though people venture into other options, but this is readily available and more easy and accessible. So I think that people do it because of probably their financial situations, but I also have people that they're having the finances, but I don't know why they go in for it actually.
Razak.
Okay, so like I said earlier, sometimes some people they lack, they are from very poor backgrounds, and when they come to school, they try as much as possible to cope. So if they try the mini businesses like selling of things and all that, and it's not working, they know that this is something that is always easily accessible, as she said. They are easily lured into it. And sometimes it's not entirely their fault, because I know how it feels to come from a very poor background. Sometimes some people struggle to even pay their fees. You get it? So in that circumstance, if they know that, oh, I could easily hook up with a man and get money, then they just begin, and that is how it starts. So I think that's something that is awesome.
Laura, your thoughts?
So like I said earlier, that's the trend. Nobody wants to be a cake. Everybody wants to be current. So this is what's going on. If we ask you and you don't know anything about hookup, you seem to be like you are too colo or something like that. So everybody wants to be current, and we live in a society where people are too curious. They want to know what's inside this hookup thing. Let me try it once and see. And once they try it and they get the money, after getting maybe 450 cedis per night, obviously you are going to do it for the second time. Not necessarily because they are poor, because money is something that one can never be satisfied with. Even if your father is who is even the richest man in the world, even if your father is Elon Musk or something, there are people who want to earn money on their own. Rich men's children who want to earn money on their own. So if something is trending, they are being curious, they go into it and they get the money, they will always want to do it, irrespective of the fact that their fathers have money or they are not from a poor background.
All right. So would you also say that, lack of, parental control or, proper upbringing also has an influence on people, venturing into hookup?
Yes, I'll buy into that. But there are also people that they've had a lot of proper home training, but they are open up to certain spaces or open up to other lives that they are easily influenced. So I think that it's just people's inbuilt nature that we have people that they are very assertive in life. Like they are no, it's their no. It's so hard to twist their brains. But even though poor parental guidance can be a very key factor, but we can't push away the fact that people actually have the strictest of parents and they're actually the baddest people we can have in status quo. So I feel that it's just influence and the spaces they're open up to and how assertive they are in life about their goals and passion.
Okay. Where's that?
I think it's really a key influencer of that, because some people, parenting is a skill. Despite the fact that some parents just try to be very strict on their children, they compel them to be good people at their side, but immediately they leave, they become something else. So I feel parents can do much better. You can train your child in a way to live a very comfortable life and show who she really is to you, so that you know how you are going to kind of help her live a better life. But being so strict, as she said, I think that is sometimes something that compels young girls to fake being good to their parents or their guardians, but when they come to campus, then they are different people altogether.
Gloria, people say that some people are involved in hookup due to very limited, job opportunities. Is that something that you would say it's also part of what is, feeding into the hookup culture?
Well, honestly, no. It is not because of limited job opportunities. People are in because it's lucrative, because the job opportunities available. It's more or less like you don't get, at the end of the day, you don't get what you really want. If I'm into, if I'm into trading and I'm selling something, and at the end of the day, I don't get up to 100 cedis, but somebody is doing hookup, will not work for the entire day, but will get 450 cedis. You weigh it, though the job opportunity is there, but weighing the financial benefits of the hookup person to the trader, the person will rather go in for the hookup business. So it's not because there is limited job opportunities. Actually, there are job opportunities, but then they are just weighing the financial benefits. This one is more lucrative, they are getting money, but this one, they are not really getting money. Some people are in hookup business and they earn more than people on government payroll. So they don't see it as, they don't see it necessary to go and sit in the office, and at the end of the day, they don't get the money they want to get. So they would rather go into hookup business.
Clarity on her case. So you realize that like in the job factor, most of us want like a white collar job where it's so like we get a lot of money at the end of the month. But I realize that currently in Ghana, what's happening, most of us cannot really get that dream white collar job we are having. So I realize that there are other options Ghanaians fail to explore, and they claim they are not jobs because people can start up like little businesses that they can actually get money from. As Gloria said, it's just that the capital incentive is not that motivating. So what if like, let me try other options, and this is like so simple, and at the end of the day I don't sit in Tamale market with my little shop and like sun beats me and I'll still get like 50 cedis at the end of the day, when I can just have like a 30 minutes pleasure and I'm getting like 150 Ghana cedis or 450 Ghana cedis a month. So I think that's it. Yeah.
All right, so let's cycle back to the consequences. What do you think are the potential consequences of this hookup trend that has emerged in recent times?
Okay, so we all know what's happening currently in Ghana about the whole case. So like this is one of the greatest consequences that can happen.
And also, I think that there has been a retraction of that particular story.
Okay.
The university has come out to deny that nothing of that sort happened. So maybe we should tread carefully on that. I really do not have bail money.
Okay, so I think that the possible consequences can be like there's going to be a lot of spread of diseases, and into like let's look at the most important stakeholders when this happens. So the individual is one of the important stakeholders, and the government. So how does this affect the individual in the long run? That means that you are going to contract a lot of diseases because most of these people, there's a lot of demand. Like I like it raw. Like most of these people want to explore other options of sex. So that means that their protective nature, it's not. Most of them just take pills to protect them from pregnancy and stuff, but they don't actually care about like the diseases they are exchanging. So that means is that they're not just sleeping with one sexual partner, they're having a lot of multiple sexual partners. And here innocent people, they'll actually see a very nice guy and think, oh, my boyfriend, who is actually probably also sleeping with hookup people, then innocent people are going to be contracted. How does this affect the other stakeholder I just mentioned? That's the government. So you realize that it puts so much burden on the government because you're going to have a lot of people with disease such as HIV, AIDS, that is going to be like so choked in our hospitals. So that means that the burden on government's part is that you're actually pushing or forcing government because, it's like a social contract. We have a social contract between we and the state. So it's like it's mandatory for the state to be able to take care of these citizens. So that means that it's mandatory for the state to take care of these patients. So that means that Ghana, we are even broke in status quo. Monies that can be used for like certain things, you're now coming to like push more funds into like purchasing drugs for HIV patients because you can't actually neglect them. They're your citizens. They've sworn their allegiance to you, and you have to take care of them. So I think it's very detrimental to both individuals and states, and that's the consequences I can't think of.
Razak?
Yeah, I think she has said it all, but to add to that, most people that usually engage in this hookup thing, they don't think of the consequences like that as we are discussing it here. They don't think of it to that extent. All they want is the short-term benefits of it, the immediate benefits, the money they are going to get. And it's even something that's not sustainable. No matter how you do it, there's a particular stage in life you are going to stop. And if you stop, what's as the harms you are going to go to when you later on stop it in life, like you are going to suffer till you die. So the future harms are more than the current benefits, and that is what most of those involved in it don't think about. The future harms of it outweighs its immediate benefits. So I think that's
Okay, so I think that she has already spoken about the consequences on the individuals. I will delve much into the senior high school girls. Most of them don't know anything about reproductive health, how to protect themselves and all that, so they end up getting pregnant. Of late, we've had a lot of teenage pregnancies in the system. And it's not like, though human beings are the greatest resource we can get, but then they are more or less like unwanted human beings because it's something they are not planned for. They just come into the system as a result of careless sexual as a result of careless sexual adventures. it's not really helping them because their education gets shattered. They are not able to go to school. Their dreams are cut off because of one night, if not one night, but because of hookup businesses. So I think the teenage pregnancy is our greatest consequence with regards to hookup business.
Okay. Teenage pregnancy, it's our greatest consequence with regards to the hookup business. On this note, we are going for a quick break, and when we come back, the conversation continues.
You only live once.
Charlie, what's up? My name is Odenche. Some of you call me mini sharpshooter, but make I give you brotherly advice. For all your sexual reproductive health rights information, counseling and referral services, call the Agushi Plus helpline on toll-free numbers 5100 on MTN or 0800 001122 on all networks. Be assured of your confidentiality. Agushi Plus helpline, we there for you. Good life is an everyday thing. Good life, live it well. YOLO, you only live once. Peace out.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is the Young Voices Forum, and our conversation today is on hookup, as to whether it's a refined form of prostitution or not. So far, there have been very interesting submissions, and the conversation is continuing. So if you have any thoughts, any questions, any suggestions, you can just leave them in the comment section for us, and we'll get right back to you on that. So, are there potential solutions or interventions that could address, this challenge? Because we are looking at it as a challenge because we talked about the consequences. So, is there anything that we can do to, mitigate this?
Okay, to mitigate it. Okay, people may say that they have body autonomy, but I think if body autonomy is going to affect a lot of citizens, then something has to be done. So she made a case about the senior high school people getting pregnant, and teenage pregnancy is like one of the trending things in most of our senior high schools currently. So I thought that what can be done is like sex should be normalized and talked about, because most of these people find it very hard to even talk to their parents about sexual issues. So they have like little knowledge or adventure into it. Certain times we can't control certain sexual behaviors of people, but I think that normalizing it and talking about it and even teaching it in schools help people to know like the consequences. And we are rational beings, so I will now sit and weigh options whether I can choose to go in for it or not. And looking at the consequences, I think our rationality, most of us will not even venture. So I think that sex should be like a normalized something that. So I think that, yeah, that's what I can talk about the senior high school. I'll think about the tertiary and get back to it.
Okay. I mean, just lump all of it together. Like, what can we do? What are some of the interventions we can do to ensure that this is not happening, to ensure that hookup business does not thrive?
Okay, so I think we should emphasize on letting people know the consequences of it. It's because it's becoming normal. People think that it's something that is good, right? And some ladies think it's something that is good because people don't usually talk about its consequences. So I think if we emphasize on advocating and letting people know the consequences of it, it will help.
It's not like people don't know the consequences. Okay. They are aware. They just want to do it. They are like, some people are like, what you don't know cannot kill you. So they don't really want to know whether the person has HIV/AIDS or has any sexual. Yes, they don't want to know. They just go in for it. So I know this is harsh, but I think in our hospitals, HIV drugs are given for free. Hepatitis B, most of the sexually transmitted diseases, their drugs are for free. I think they should start selling them. Because some people think, even if I contract it, I will still go to the hospital and they will give it to me for free. Don't I pay for NHIS? Don't I do this? Some people feel like they have to burden the government because they are also citizens of the country. So I think they should start selling it, at least, even if it is at a subsidized price, because we can't buy them. They are really expensive. So even if it's at a subsidized price, it will be better and it will deter people from doing this hookup business, even if they are doing it, they will use protection so that at the end of the day, they don't end up in the hospitals paying a lot of bills just to, should I say, cover up for their diseases.
Don't you think that that is quite a very dangerous precedent to set? Because I think people already living with HIV are stigmatized. And we are gradually trying to move away from the thought process that anybody who has contacted HIV did it as a result of indiscriminate sex. Believe me, I have sat in rooms with people who were married as virgins, and then on their first pregnancy with their husband, they go to the hospital and they find out that they are HIV positive. There are people who were positive, carried their pregnancy without going for ANC, because when you go for ANC, they do all of this testing and all of that. Then they give birth to a child already living with HIV. So don't you think that is too harsh? Because just because of a few people you suspect that they got HIV through, risky sexual adventures, the rest of the population should suffer for that. Don't you think that is a little bit harsh?
Okay, so we can exclude some of the children, not some.
How do you know who got HIV through risky sexual adventures?
You will not know.
As she said, some people come to the hospital and they are screened for it, not the pregnant women. They go for ANC and they do all these tests for them. So it's like they know that definitely this child is going to get the HIV. But most of the times they give them drugs. But if you don't go, that's kind of like you are bringing that upon yourself.
So you still maintain that they should sell the medicine
That's why I said
to
at
HIV?
a subsidized price.
Well, okay, Mulaika.
But I don't buy Gloria's case because even though we can be irrational beings, but I don't think our irrationality has gotten to that extent of where I want to just have HIV and know that I'm going to be sick. The thing is that even government will not do that, because even in status quo, like, it's so hard to even purchase malaria drug that's NHIS, it's still on it. People are still, like, the economy of our, like, we have a state where we have more poor people than rich people. So I think it's more burden, because even common drugs that are anti-malaria drugs, that there's a lot of government waste on it, people can't afford. And you're letting people purchase, like, drugs you can't even know, like, I'm in the health field, you can't even know which of the patient comes to you and has had HIV through, like, you are giving us a lot of burden. I can't sit and say, so did you have sex? It's not part of my job to be questioning you about your personal sexual life, unless it's a must and we actually have that agreement. So I don't think human beings are rational, like irrational enough to that extent to just want to say, I want to burden the state, so I have to impose HIV on myself. And I don't think even governments will buy into that world, because I don't see it to be like a way to solve an issue. Like, I don't see it as a way to solve the issue. You are just actually making it look like the state doesn't care about its citizens. And at the end of the day, you're going to even bring a lot of consequences because we rebel against government. Like, you cannot say you will not take care of me because I'm sick. Yeah.
All right, so this has gotten very interesting. I wish this discussion didn't have to end, but I'm sure that I believe it will be part 2. So producer, if you are listening, I think we need a part 2 of this conversation, because there is so much that we need to delve into. But before we wrap up, I would like to take your final words on this. So I'll start with Razak.
I think that young ladies out there, no matter how lucrative the hookup business is, if something is wrong, it's wrong. Do not ride on the fact that it's a trend or it's lucrative and then lose your dignity at the end of the day. They should be mindful of their future and know that there are other businesses they can explore that are even much lucrative than the hookup they are thinking. It's just the restriction of their mind from exploring such opportunities. That is why they are seeing the hookup business to be that lucrative. So if something is wrong, it is wrong irrespective, whether it's lucrative or not. So I don't encourage young ladies out there to engage in the hookup business.
Yes, Mulaika.
Okay, so I always say sex should be normalized and talked about. I think that we can't stop people from their sexual activities, but I feel that ladies out there or men out there, if you want to explore, just find one partner, stick with one partner. There are a lot of tests in hospital where you can find out like the right person for you. I think you should run these tests, be faithful to one partner. You can explore your sex. It's your body autonomy. No one can snatch that from you. But I think you have to be very careful because you are actually affecting the young ones, or we the innocent ones sitting here with your actions. So I think that you, as far as Zach said, you can explore other options to get you your money. Like you can start your business. People are doing it and it's thriving. Online businesses. You can come face-to-face businesses. So I think that's just what I have to say to everyone.
Gloria, your final thoughts.
Yeah. So what I want to say is that if you are in for hookup business because of the money and all that, I want to say that if it's for the money, then hookup business is actually not an option. It shouldn't be an option for you, looking at the consequences with it. Because if you are to go out with a guy and eat, drink, what time do you have to go to the hospital to look for the test you can do to know whether the person has this kind of disease or not? So I think it shouldn't even be an option if your reason is for money and other things. Even if it's for fun, as Mulaika said, you should stick to one person. And you know, we are kind of promoting it, but then should I say the 3 religions in Ghana does not support all this sex before marriage or something. So if you are going to stick with your religion, and I think you should just stay away from it.
Wow. Today has been a very thought-provoking discussion, and I am very glad that this conversation has been had. I don't think that we have exhausted all of the things that we need to talk about with regards to this issue. So hopefully my producer takes me up on this, and then we have a part 2 of this conversation. So thank you very much for joining us today. We are very grateful. But before I sign off, I want to remind you that the She Plus helpline, it's available for you. It is very, very important that you have fun, but it's also more important to protect yourself. So if you are engaging in sexual activities, always remember to use a condom. I know that pregnancy might be your biggest scare, but sexually transmitted infections exist, and for some of them you have to live with them for the rest of your life. So I encourage you to always use the barrier method, that is the condom, because it is the only method that prevents pregnancy and also protects you against sexually transmitted infection. If you do not know where to get a condom, you can always call our line 0800 1122 0800 1122. Sorry, that is the She Plus helpline, and there is someone that can guide you on how to get a condom. Or you could also call the Ago She Plus helpline on 5100. You can get information. You can request to be transferred to a health worker who would take you through everything you need to know about protecting yourself. Life is very risky, so you need to do your part to protect yourself. So until we come your way, same time next week, my name is Rahel Erabina Entry, and I was your host for today. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Anna Mampofa Bebio, and I play the role of Ariana in your favorite TV series, YOLO. Do you want to take control of your sexual reproductive health and rights? Let me introduce you to the Agoshi Plus helpline. Agoshi Plus offers information on education, sexual reproductive health and rights, and counseling. Even if you need a referral to a health facility, a specialist or social justice institution, we've got you. Give us a call on our toll-free numbers 5100 on MTN and 0800 001122 on all networks. Call now and let's have that confidential, frank conversation. Good life, it's an everyday thing. Good life, live it well. YOLO, you only live once.
You only live once. You only live once.
Hello, my name is Jason Edwards, aka Psycho, aka since the 80s, aka the Florida Man. Ever need reliable and confidential information and support for your sexual and reproductive health, counseling, or psychosocial needs? Agoshi Plus has got you. Call 5100 on MTN and 0800 001122 on all networks. Good life. Live it well. Good life. It's an everyday thing. YOLO, you only live once.
live once.